There are new concerns over terrorism this morning, with the latest intelligence data revealing a surge in the number of young people who support terrorist attacks and extremist causes. Live now to Today Federal Politics reporter Liz Daniels in Canberra. Liz, it's being fuelled by a rise in online extremism.
Yes, Jane, in one case, a 14-year-old known for racist attacks had plotted a shooting at their high school motivated by violent nationalist ideology. They had access to guns and explosives and have now been sentenced to a 2-year good behaviour bond. Details of cases have been released as part of research coordinated with our Five Eyes allies. Australia's police and spy chiefs teaming up with their colleagues in the US, UK, Canada and New Zealand to try to combat the rise of youth extremism, which they say is being fanned online. A shocking 20% of counter-terrorism cases in Australia are centred on young people, some investigations into children as young as 12, and Jane, officers are now pleading with parents, teachers and doctors to help them identify these teens at risk and intervene.
OK, Liz, thank you.
This year, the alleged perpetrator of every single terrorism incident across this country has been a young person. One is only 12 years of age. A new Five Eyes report this morning laying bare the radicalisation of our youth, especially online. For more, we're joined by global security expert Greg Barton in Melbourne. Greg, great to see you again. Tell us about the major concerns highlighted in this report.
Well, as you say, David, this year it's been all of the counter-terrorism cases. The last 4 years, 35 minors. Most of them charged with the Commonwealth or state offences. So that's a serious escalation. I mean, we saw back in the days of Islamic State, ISIS, a focus on recruiting minors, but that trend has continued. It's not just groups like Islamic State, it's far-right extremist groups, other groups that exploit the attraction of violent material, not because the violent material online itself radicalises, but the friendships that are formed is a way of getting into young people's lives. And so this is a trend that police are saying they can't solve by themselves. They need the help of families, communities, people working with youth, because it requires a whole society effort.
Well, this will hit home for a lot of parents out there, Greg, that have their kids on screens a lot. You try to get them off the screens, you can't. So how are they being radicalised?
It's basically the formation of friendships, David. So the kids don't understand that the friendships are dangerous at first. The friendships present themselves as exciting. Somebody showing an interest in me. They think I'm cool. They're sharing stuff with me. I'm important. Obviously, if kids are a bit lonely or going through some moments of trauma, they're more vulnerable. But parents can see changes in their ideas, changes in the friendships that they have on and offline. And, so often signs of more transgressive behaviour. These all sort of point to somebody in that young person's life that the parents can't see themselves. So apart from looking out for those warning signs, just, keeping in relationship with young people in terms of talking about what they're doing online, what's interesting, what's cool, what have you found interesting lately, as a way of having some insight into what they're doing online.
Well, Greg, what about this social media ban that's been proposed by the government? It's now passed legislation. Will that help?
Potentially. The devil's in the details, David. I mean, it's good in principle, but of course, young people are cleverer than we are at finding ways around sites blocking age verification and so forth. So unfortunately, many of them will find ways around. They'll be helped as soon as they do. That will just make it more attractive. So the social media ban might seem like a quick win, but we've got to be really careful to watch what's happening and be sure that we're not actually making things worse, because at least at the moment, you can speak to young people about what they're doing online. If they're not supposed to be there on social media, they're less inclined to admit to the fact that they found a way to get onto it.
All right, well, it's a fascinating article as well. Greg, we appreciate your insight this morning. SJ.